What's up, Unis? So this is a run with the pug group, obviously doing Athiss, which is like a level 20ish, 21 instance. This is the first boss. So what happened here, as you can see, um, the first person in my party area is he's not there, which was a marauder. But basically, the tank charge, he told that he was gonna go in, and everything was clear. But unfortunately, this pet came from behind, and since I was, the one furthest back as I was the healer, he jumped me, and I called, but it was too late. We already aggroed the boss, so I couldn't heal them in time, and he died. So this is gonna be a three-man fight, and you'll see right at the end of the fight that the Marauder comes in. I think he gets like one hit on the boss, but like it dies. Overall, the main point I want to make is this was like me healing, obviously, as a bounty hunter, as you can see. And you can see pretty much like I'm shooting a lot of times. And one of the most important things to do as a bounty hunter and as an operative healer I found, not so much as a Sorc because you can kind of spam your heals since you don't have that so much as a resource management. Like a Sorc is more like, your priest kind of healer. Like, he has a pool of, his forces like your mana, and he just heals. Whereas a bounty hunter, those who have played, they know, he starts or she starts at 0 and goes up to 100. But the main point is, and I've talked about this on our forums, is looking at those little arrows on the side of the heat bar, which is the yellow bar under the health one. But basically, if you keep it around like 50% mark or just below, you will see the four yellow arrows pointing like away from your character, the little ones. That if you move your cursor over, it'll tell you how much heat you're venting as a bounty hunter, which is very important. But basically, you'll be doing like I think 5 heat per second, which is very important. And you can see I'm pretty much shooting with my standard shots there, which is like my healing gun. Um, it's very important to do that, and a lot of times you will not keep people at full health, so don't panic. It's the way the fight is supposed to go. It's about resource management and your ability to heal for the whole duration of the fight versus like keeping everybody topped off. So especially if you're grouping with people for the first time, regardless if it's in the guild or not. As you can see over there, the guy just came in and we killed the boss, no problem. So you can see in the whole fight, pretty much my resource was never over half, even it was not even close. I was kind of like, just trying to show you how easy it is to manage and how you can keep even a pug group at a lower health and not worry about it. Here, once again, this is just showing like, a little champion fight and how I'm just doing that. And a couple of times, like I was talking to Clay, so um, you know, I'm, I was distracted. But overall, it is not hard to heal, especially in instance. Once you get past like around, especially around 20 or so, it's really easy. At the beginning, it is a bit of a trick, but then again, like I think the hammer station is like the first instance where you kind of require a healer. But it's one of those ones that, like, if the group knows what they're doing, you should be fine because, as long as you can avoid those AoE and all that kind of stuff, you'll be alright and know how to manage the ads. By the way, a little tip on Hammer Station. When the ads pop in, you can actually take any class that there's an AoE knockback, like a Bounty Hunter, for example. I think Marauders have that, something similar, or the Sith Warriors. You can actually knock them off the sides, and they can do that with a lot of NPCs in this game. So something like in other MMOs you cannot is knock NPCs off. In this game you can. But anyway, that actually makes the fight a lot easier because when they actually come in, they don't run straight away. I think there's like a second or two of delay, or sometimes they stay even longer. But basically, when I was playing Hammer Station on a bounty hunter, that's what I did. I knocked about 6 of them off the ledges, like during the different phases, and that makes the fight a lot easier. Um, so going through this, like it was an easy fight for everybody, and we just pretty much breezed through it. I think the only time anybody died was, like I said, in that first fight with that Marauder, which was unfortunate. Here we have a 3 pull. Now you can see, you might have seen on the right side there at the back. I've got that one under I think it's called concussive hits, which is the same as the whirlwind for SWToR. The bounty hunters get that at a later level. It's basically your 1 minute mez breaks on damage. So most of the champions, as long as they're not with bosses, or I'm assuming named, or bosses themselves, you can actually mez them. As you can see here, he's coming out, so I'm gonna remez. So it was a 3 champion fight and it ended up being a 2 champ, and that made my job a lot easier, healing. I will post another video of the bounty hunter heals in war zones, but this is more just to let you guys also see the boss fights itself. The couple of things about the first boss fight, which is that big, I don't know, whatever the hell it was, like a dog, triceratops thing. Fighting it is easy. You just have ads, like, it's a tank and spank boss. Ads. The only thing is, be careful about where you pull it to. Like for the tank, he does have a knockback, and there are a couple of ledges area in that first area where you can get knocked off and off the fight itself. As far as I know, in most of these lower level instances, almost any boss you fight does not reset. So once you aggro the boss, that's on. Like that's it. You cannot like run off. You can't like use any of the the elevators or something and get away with it. It's just whatever you have, and that's it. So it's important sometimes to make sure that you do use your whatever the ability you have, what is called, that to get your energy back, to get your mana up, or sorry, your force, or to get your heat vented. It is designed as an out of combat heal and resource management, and it's very important in instance that the whole group understands that and not just expect, for example, a bounty hunter, a SWToR, or an operative to keep everybody at 100%. So after especially big fights where everybody's health is at like 40% or something, people should pay attention to that and actually complement the healer and heal themselves using that ability, because the last thing you want to do is go into a boss fight where either the bounty hunter's heat is at 70% or the IA's energy is like at 30% or the SWToR is like got 40 force or something. It's like you're really just asking for a wipe, so it's not fair. I don't think in any of these fights I actually had to use my my main vent heat skill, which I think is on a 2 minute cooldown. Um, you can notice the guy's actually got a bug every time he's out of combat. It shows like he's on a speeder, but the speed is missing, which was kind of amusing. But this is the last fight here, the boss fight. It's if those people who've done Rift, they know that I can't remember the fight, but it's like I think like a 19-20 level instance, and you go in, it's the last boss, and he calls those fire heads. But basically, it's very simple. You fight him, and then he will kind of like disappear for a second and port to another place, and he'll call these fire demons or something like that. It's basically you cannot attack them. They're kind of like a ghost kind of. Yeah, you can see those fire things right now, and just basically avoid them, and you can just run around and they will kind of like track down, and right before they're about to blow up, a few seconds before that, the boss will come out, and you pretty much just let the tank spank it, and you will also get, I think, some kind of dot he puts on you, which is where you might have to keep an eye on your party members or even yourself, and just make sure you get it topped off, because it does a lot of damage. As you can see here, that's me on fire. But it's not a hard fight if everybody works as a team, which generally works for, I guess, every instance. Some of the things to note, one important part is, I'm not sure if they had this before because I kind of learned this on this build. If you look on top of your minimap, there is a little exit option. Basically, once an instance is done, or hey, if you have to leave, whatever, some instances have that exit window where you can jump in and you get ported back to the Imperial fleet. In this instance, for example, there is no easy out. Well, there is, but the point is you have to otherwise run all the way back to the front, which is kind of annoying because I think it's like a 3 or 4 minute run. You can just click on that thing on the minimap. It says exit, and you literally click on it and you're out. You can do that. I used to just kind of cheat, which was just after the fight, you say, okay, thanks for the group, and you just leave the party, and of course that boots you after 30 seconds, but you still have to wait for that 30 seconds. This is instant, and you're still in the group, so you can go back and do the other one, especially if you want to do a rerun or something else. You don't have to re-invite everybody and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and the crew skills are important because you can do things like activating medical droids, I think slicing computers, to open up the drill in Hammer Station, that kind of stuff, like doing shortcuts. So that it's just quite interesting how they've made your crew skills, your crafting, quite important for what you do in an instance, and it can actually give you shortcuts and all that kind of stuff. Instead of like trying to jump over ledges and avoid mobs, you actually have skills that your party members can use and utilize to bypass certain things that you don't need or access more loot, for example, that kind of stuff. So it is important, and in this game, crew skills is not hard to to level up, and that's pretty much it.